Well, I spoke to Deputy Opposition Leader and Shadow Treasurer Ted O'Brien a short time ago. I started by asking him if he believed today's inflation figures do mean a rate rise next week is all but locked in.
Well, the market thinks that's the case, Tom. Certainly at 3.8%, that's a higher inflation figure than any major advanced economy, and it certainly exceeds the RBA forecast. And so it's not much surprise that the market is suggesting that interest rates are on their way up.
So how much certainty do you think there is around that, and what's the solution? Because in the past we've seen subsidies, energy subsidies for households. Is it time to just buckle up and cop a bit of this and get inflation down?
Well, I think Australians have been copying it for nearly 4 years now, and this is the problem, because Australians had elected an Albanese government on the promise that prices were going to be managed and coming down. Australians were led to believe only last year that they had tamed inflation, that interest rates were going to be coming down. But now the truth is known. The price of everything has been soaring. No relief really is in sight. Interest rates probably will go up if the market's right. Real wages will likely go down. Taxes will likely go up. At the end of the day, Labor is proving yet again it cannot manage the economy, and it's the everyday hard-working Australian who's paying the price.
We've got the budget in May, so not too far after this interest rate decision. Is it time for you as Shadow Treasurer to actually give something like an alternative budget? Not a couple of measures, but really outline what spending should not be going ahead line by line.
Well, you know what the difficulty is, Tom, in answering that question, is today we have $60 billion of a budget black hole. So Jim Chalmers' budget, there's $60 billion deterioration in the fiscal outlook he cannot explain. So there is no line items with that. I mean, think about that. In December, they came out with a mid-year outlook. So basically like a mini budget. And there's $60 billion he can't explain. Treasury can't even explain what it is. And this is the problem when you have a government which has lost control of the economy and its own finances. We've been clear it should introduce quantifiable fiscal rules. It should drive greater efficiency in government. It should go line item by line item and get rid of wasteful spending. But the real revelation today, in addition to the horrific inflation figures, is a $60 billion black hole. Labor can't even explain it. And so that should be the priority of Jim Chalmers. He was asked by one of your colleagues earlier today to explain the $60 billion. His answer was it is just a small deterioration. $60 billion is considered a small amount of money by the Australian Treasurer. That is ridiculous. I mean, that equates to what, about $5,500 per Australian household. Australians should have no confidence in this government's ability to manage money.
So, well, the deterioration, I guess, relates to percent of GDP, which is between 0.1 and 0.3% a year. But on rules, so we've known for a long time the Coalition has this tax to GDP rule. Will you announce a spending to GDP rule and therefore be able to set a test for the government if you say line by line it's too hard?
Oh, look, good question, Tom, but I won't be preempting any future announcements. But we have been very clear that it is our intention to have quantifiable fiscal rules. And that shouldn't be a big wow factor, candidly.
That's the logical one, isn't it?
Again, I won't be preempting the detail, but the point I was going to make, Tom, is Jim Chalmers is the first Treasurer since Peter Costello not to have basic rules to contain his spending, which is why this is the biggest spending government in 40 years. It's why spending is going out of control. It's why he thinks $60 billion isn't worth much. That's the problem. And we also know that one of the reasons why we are seeing inflation so high today is because of that unconstrained government spending. So it is a massive problem. I won't be announcing today what the Coalition's rules will be, other than to confirm that it is a key criticism that we continue to make of the government, our intention is to have quantifiable fiscal rules. Any good government would, other than, of course, the Albanese government, because they're not.
And that will be announced, what, by or before this budget? This is something we're going to hear about soon, is it?
Again, I'm not going to be preempting the timing of our policy announcements, Tom, I'm afraid. Don't blame me for asking.
The spending crisis
I'm not going to be revealing
would
here our
surely
timing.
mean you've got to announce something soon rather than just wait for the election, though. That'd make sense, wouldn't it?
Well, we have been very clear about what the government needs to do. I mean, it's 2.5 years before the election, before there's any chance of us, again, going back to the Treasury benches. Our job is to hold this government to account. And Tom, I mean, let's not remember out in the real world there, this is the week where mums and dads are dropping their kids off at school. You know, a lot of families have got the financial hangover after the Christmas period. They're paying for school fees, for books, for shoes, for uniforms. They are struggling.
OK, we won't get the announcement today. One person that did announce something today on Sky News was Colin Boyce. He says he'll call for a spill of leadership. Would it be easier for the coalition to get back together again if David Littleproud were not the leader?
You know, Tom, end of last week, I was making it really clear that no one in the National Party should be intervening, talking about Liberal leadership, internal matters to the Liberal Party. Here I am as the Deputy Leader of the Liberal Party. I can assure you I won't be intervening in National Party matters. I did hear the announcement today from Colin Boyce. Again, that is entirely a matter for the National Party. They will sort their own things out, by the sounds of it, next week.
Is there a sense the Nats do need to get their house in order, though, after what happened?
Again, it's up to the National Party as to how they manage their own affairs, but I remain enormously disappointed by the decision they took last week. I do believe Australia's interests best served by a coalition government. I've always believed that. I continue to believe that. But as it stands, there is no coalition today. And there are some fundamental principles that have bound our party previously, and those principles should remain. Most importantly, the importance of cabinet solidarity, or in opposition, shadow cabinet solidarity.
It's clear on your side, isn't it, that there have been serious conversations about whether or not Susan Lee will be replaced as leader.
Well, there's no doubt there's been a lot of media attention on it, Tom, which is why I'm grateful I could speak to you today about the impact of inflation owned by Jim Chalmers, Jimflation, on the Australian people. But it is true, there's been a lot of media speculation about the Liberal Party. I remain of the view that I don't think there will be a leadership challenge next week.
But it's not just media speculation. People would have spoken to you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be the deputy, would you, if you weren't out there holding conversations and being the Praetorian Guard?
Oh, look, any conversations I have, Tom, I don't get on national television and start talking about it. But more broadly, without going into any specific conversation, more broadly, I believe that the media speculation is certainly overstated. In looking at some of the media articles, you would think that there's been an enormous flurry of canvassing. That hasn't been the case. Again, nobody can tell the future, but I am supremely confident at this stage at least that there won't be a leadership challenge next week. Either way, Susan Lee has been elected our leader. I think the way she conducted herself last week should give people a confidence in the enormous strength of her, the dignity in which she conducted herself and on behalf of the party. And all the colleagues with whom I've spoken to, nobody has disagreed with that.
Whilst polls are dismissed, the level of opprobrium of voters towards the coalition broadly, or the former coalition, if you like, and Susan Lee, is stark. I mean, to have net approval rating in Sky News polls today of -31, to have One Nation polling 25%, that's not sustainable, is it? That has to change at some point in the near term.
Well, polls do change nearly every time they're taken, Tom. And that's not to dismiss the polls out of hand. Of course, any politician probably would be lying if they said they didn't at least look at the polls. But it's a little bit like the stock market. It can go up and down. we've got to focus on what matters the most. And yes, I would love to see the coalition come back together, but really our primary job is the Australian people. Our focus should be less about saving the coalition and more about saving the Australian people from a government which is making them poorer and our economy weaker. And that's why today I'm calling out Labor's $60 billion black hole and soaring inflation figures, which the market suggests will drive interest rates up. That's the stuff that impacts everyday hardworking Australians, and that's our primary focus.